So my name is Sudarshan Borkar. I'm a native of Goa, and I've been working on this project for the past 1 year now. And the whole idea came up for us to set up UURJA Naturals, which is an eco-friendly yoga sustainable living brand, was to basically create genuine products for the consumers who are practicing yoga, adopting sustainable lifestyle. So we came up with natural skincare products. Basically, the oils that we make, skincare oils, are made using coconut oil and other essential oils. So there's a growing awareness about how chemical products are affecting the human skin, right? So that is why we developed this natural skincare formulations, which are basically made using different oils, and we have a particular formulation which is blended into a product for different ailments such as dry skin, rejuvenation of the oil, for aging, for dark circles. For men also we have created a special product as well. So this whole range is what we create and offer to our consumers. Apart from that, we also have created a sustainable yoga mat, which is basically made of natural rubber and cork. And as you know, cork is a very natural and a renewable resource, and can be harvested again and can be recycled also very easily. So we use natural rubber and cork to make a sustainable yoga mat grip, which you can place over your existing yoga mat. Now, why we do that is because currently there is a lot of awareness again about soil conservation as well. And when people are adopting natural or eco-friendly products, they are also discarding these products out. So when you discard these products out, which do not have a recycling process, it affects the environment. They break down into microplastics, they affect the soil, they affect the water. So we developed a cork layer mat which can be used over an existing yoga mat which has lost its grip, and it gives you amazing grip, because in yoga the major cause of injury is due to slipping over sweat. So when you do yoga and you're practicing and you're sweating, right, you tend to slip over the mat, and that is one of the major causes for injury. So we developed this product, the yoga mat, because of these concerns of the user. So for years now, Goa has been one of the most cool capitals of yoga. You know, people from different countries coming to Goa, and this has been happening for for many years, right? This is not a recent thing, but a lot of international expats used to come, live a hippie culture, also do yoga, find spirituality in Goa, right? So moving back to Goa was one of the decisions I took when I wanted to start this brand out of Goa. And developing this product here in Goa was because of environmental reasons. Since Goa is also, like I said, a cool yoga capital, and there is a lot of scope, and also the government is doing a lot to promote yoga and wellness in the state. I thought it would be very apt to have the product based out of Goa, have the business and the brand based out of Goa, so that it creates more awareness of eco-friendly tourism. And that is something that can be done by creating certain products that gain visibility to the tourists. So when the tourist comes to Goa, instead of buying I Love Goa t-shirt, probably he might buy a sustainable yoga mat, which resembles a lot with the state and what we are trying to promote. So I did my schooling and my engineering here in Goa, right? And then I moved because of this is in 2002. Right, there were very less opportunities, there was very less internet connectivity. So your scope of wanting to do something in a private sector was very difficult. Government jobs, yes, my relatives asked me to answer exams and apply for a government job, but I did not want to be in the government job, right? So I decided to move to Bangalore, and I moved to Bangalore. I got to work with different startups. I got an exposure to the corporate life, what departments work, HR, you have your operations, you have your finance. I understood the workings of a business, right, a corporate business. So that gave me, that exposure of 11 years in Bangalore gave me a lot of visibility of how opportunities that are being presented to you can actually give you a lot of, scope to grow in terms of whether business or as a profession, right? So while I was in Bangalore, I also worked with some startups which were also into yoga. We were developing eco-friendly yoga products there as well. But then I decided to move back to Goa, because my plan when I moved out of Goa in 2002 was to be back in Goa in 2020. right? So and COVID happened and it affected businesses and all of that stuff. And I decided that I need to move back home, be with my family, and set up a business in Goa and yeah, be part of the ecosystem, which is actually growing right now in Goa. In Bangalore, we were into IT sector. I was part of a fintech startup. I think one of the few startups in the initial fintech days. I was part of that startup. I also worked with the enterprise mobility solution startup, which is both the startups are doing very well. They are well funded as well. And I also co-founded a yoga brand with a ex-co-founder of mine, and that was my last business venture. And then I moved to Goa. Let me start with how we started the business, right? So I moved to Goa, and the first 1 year, there was no plan to set up the business. There were only ideations of different businesses. There was a restaurant idea, there was a eatery idea, there was other couple of ideas, right? But we couldn't zero down on anything. And I made a couple of friends, like my co-founder and my business partner, Graham Fernandez, right? So he and me became close friends while playing football, which is again loved in Goa. And we connected there, and he's a recently passed out graduate from engineering college, and wanted to get into business. So we decided to join hands together, be partners, and start business. And since he's young and energetic, and was driven to do something different apart other than going abroad, so we decided to set up the business. And in that time, we did some research about coconut oil, and coconut oil is abundant here in Goa. And after doing a lot of reading, I realized that the best coconut oil is made in Goa, because we have spring water in the interiors of Goa, which irrigate these plantations, right? So the requirement for natural skincare products also was there at the same time, and using non-mineral oils, because currently most of the products today use mineral oils, which are toxic, which are refined oils. But making products using natural oils such as coconut oil, that too, which is abundant in Goa, in a state that I live in, I thought that was the best opportunity to create a product out of oils using coconut oil as the base. Whilst doing that, we got amazing results. People started using it, testing it, and they actually saw difference in their skin. And that gave us the confidence to go ahead. And that is when we registered with FiiRE. We got some support from FiiRE to connect with the right people, know about certifications and all of that stuff. And whilst doing that, we also decided to make an existing cork mat into a much more usable cork mat by making it very thin, light, foldable, and with a sustainable goal. And that is how we came up with the product range. So moving to Goa, the decision to come and start a thing was my last stint was at with a corporate startup. I used to work with the startup and consult banks for automation. So we used to automate all of their banking processes using technology. So I decided to move to Goa and quit that job, because I as a person, I've been very creative when it comes to approaching things in a very different way. So when you work and in a corporate job, it limits that those capabilities of thinking differently and being very innovative, whether it is marketing, operations, or how to connect with customers. So moving back to Goa was for me definitely was moving back home. And since Goa is a global brand in itself as a state, it made a lot of sense to build a brand out of Goa. So that is one of the main reasons why I moved to Goa, so that I can take something out of Goa globally, apart from just the holiday lifestyle that we promote as a tourist destination. I thought there is much more to offer from Goa. To be honest, got no support from anybody, right? But nobody complained either in my family. So when I moved back to Goa, my mom was very happy that I was here. No questions asked what I'm going to do here, nothing. I think that is one blessing that I have in my life, is nobody bothered me, right? I have been on my own, I have done things on my own, and I wouldn't say I have got any support, but I was left alone to do my thing. So that has come like a blessing to me in my life. Yeah, funny thing, I think when I moved to Goa, when I moved back to Goa, the funniest thing that happened to me was my relatives asking me to get a government job because they knew some politician and they could refer me. So I decided to skip that part and just focus on what I want to do. Like I earlier mentioned, I used to work with a yoga brand. We used to develop eco-friendly yoga products. And then I decided to move to Goa. So when I decided to move to Goa, I wanted to create the whole same concept, create the same approach to providing sustainable yoga lifestyle to to our consumers. But I wanted to be different. I wanted to make the product more affordable, more premium, and sustainable. And to do that, since I know people in the yoga community, like yoga teachers and stuff, right? So I decided that I need to come up with a nice name, and Urja sounded like Urja sounds very refreshing, and Urja in Sanskrit means refreshing energy, right? And I thought this name fits exactly where I wanted to be, and that's why we named it Urja, and that's how the name was coined. It definitely requires you to step back, like moving to a different city. When in 2002, when the opportunities were so different to what we had in Goa and what was presented in Bangalore, right? And that time Bangalore was just booming to become an IT hub, right? And you had the call center revolution that was happening, the BPO revolution, IT companies setting up shops in Bangalore. So, and that whole growth of that industry, I saw how economically the other things got affected, whether it was a rise of the retail market, rise of fashion streets, or rise of commercial places. I foresaw that to be a growth driver for any state. So whether it was Goa who would adopt businesses or adopt internet, would definitely reach to a level where you would need to cater to the growing needs of that state. So when you have a growth in an industry, you have population rise coming to the state, right? You have different talents from different parts of the country coming to that state to contribute to that industry. Likewise, the same thing I foresaw that to happen in Goa. Though Goa being a tourist destination, a lot of IT professionals that I worked with in my time in Bangalore were always wanting to were always looking forward to being in Goa. They did not mind being in Goa and working as well. And that actually got to see that when the COVID happened, right? So that was one of the, I mean, that is what I would say when it comes to, stepping back to see what opportunities are there, and stepping out of your comfort zone to see what all opportunities you do not have, right? So when you move to a different state, I got to see that. And like a lot of these wise people say, your dreams are dead where in the comfort zone, right? So for an entrepreneur, it is very important that you step out of your comfort zone, be independent, go live in a different city, meet different cultures. That's when you understand a consumer, right? You can't understand a consumer only by living in Goa, right? If you travel different states, you meet different people, you interact different people, you get to understand the way people think, you get to understand what is their consumer behavior, what is their buying behavior. So that all that information drives you to come up with ideas. And only these experiences give birth to new ideas and innovative stuff. When you apply chemical products to your skin, right, a lot of people face allergies, rashes, skin irritation, and that happens with chemically made products. One good thing about using natural oils is that it does not affect the skin drastically, where it will give you reactions, irritations, or rashes and stuff. So using oils has been a tradition in the Indian culture for thousands of years, right? So it has not been giving you any rashes. Sages and their wives used to be using that, right? Even in traditionally, you apply coconut oil to a baby and massage the kid with the coconut oil. So that was one of the reasons that we did not fear the outcome of what might affect the skin. But we definitely did a lot of research in the composition and the formulation of what we made, right? So after testing it with the users, we got to see the effectiveness of the product, and that is what gave us the confidence to go ahead and make a product which can be commercialized. Now talk about the big boys, like big brands that are already out there, and we might maybe be a competition to them in the future. But today it is such that there is a lot of influencer driven products, which you can get someone to say that a product that has never been used or tested by anyone, and pay some influencer to say that is the best product for the skin. So consumers have realized there is a gap between what my influencer is telling me that I'm following to what actually the reality is, because An influencer will say A product is good, and the next day they will say B product is good. So consumers have realized that it is about trust, right? A company has to follow those values of trust and provide those kind of products to the consumer, and that is what we want to stand out with the big boys. We are okay with not having major market share, but we want to provide the best quality products to our consumers. Since we make all the products using essential oils and coconut oil, we source essential oils from a certified supplier who sources these essential oils from different parts of the world. Like you have bergamot oil, frankincense oil, sandalwood oil again is from India. You have saffron oil, right? So you have different oils which are sourced from one manufacturer who is certified, and we source the coconut oil from Goa, and we use MCT, that is fractionated coconut oil, and we blend it into a formulation. Currently, we are formulating this out of our small space that we have, hygienic space that we have kept in our office. We are formulating it. One unique thing about our formulation is that we bottle each bottle by hand. Now, why we do that is because it's all about formulations, right? 1% of this oil, 10% of this oil, 30% of this oil, and the balance of this oil makes 100% 30 ml bottle. So instead of doing it in big batches, which when you do loses its potency and effectiveness, we bottle it hand by hand so that the potency of the formulation remains and the user gets the best of the formulation, right? So that is the uniqueness of our product. We started post-COVID, the business started post-COVID, but the COVID impact has been drastic on people's lifestyles. I think people have become more health conscious, more responsible, more sustainable in their choices, right? People want to opt for something that will actually benefit their health and also improve the lives of people around, because COVID has taught a lot of lessons to most of us, right? So whether it is skincare or whether it is health or fitness, so that definitely has boosted this whole approach towards natural products, and we saw that as an opportunity to be part of this ecosystem and be a brand. So currently we are selling online. We are available on Amazon. We have our own website, UURJANaturals.com. We also retail it at some hotel stores here in Goa. And our business model is B2C sales. We also do B2B. We do white labeling of the oils as well. For example, we try to work with hotels and create their custom toiletries, which they can label as their own, and they can give it to their customers for a different experience. And we do that with the other products as well. We try to partner with different fitness centers, yoga centers, yoga retreats in Goa, and provide them with this lovely yoga mat which provides the best grip, which helps their attendees also to experience the yoga in the right way. I think this is on. I think I should share this one. So I gave this oil to a yoga teacher, and she has been using it for a while. And she messaged me once when I asked her about how is the oil, how is it going with using the oil, and she told me that her mother-in-law complimented her, saying that your skin is glowing, you're looking you're looking different, your skin doesn't look oily. And then she showed her the bottle of what she was using, and I think the mother-in-law must be also using. But that was, I think, the best testimonial so far I have got from a user. Yeah. See, we focus completely on the customer, right? So customer connect is what drives us to do what we are doing every day, right? So giving the customer the right product, ensuring that we do not sell someone who doesn't want something, right? That is where we lose customers. So we do not do that. We ride on the customer connect that we have experience of, and the motivation comes to drive to do this every day is based on the feedback, based on the comments that we get, our engagement on social media with the customers. That is what drives us to go ahead and gives us the confidence that we are doing the right thing, and that is how we wake up every day and go to sleep at night. So I practice meditation. I also do a little bit of Surya Namaskar. Since I'm a very active person, I play football, I even go to a gym, I go running, I go cycling. So I do a lot of things, but whenever I find time to do yoga, I definitely do meditate in the mornings. Surya Namaskar, I used to do it on the beach, but now that it's raining, I missed doing that. I realized in my life itself that being fit is very important. Whether it is for physical or mental well-being, you have to be fit. You have to have you have to have a routine every day. You cannot just go with the flow. You actually have to take control of the day. Whether it is waking up on time, doing morning chores, working, having a time to cutting off from work, having your own time for yourself. I think these are very important things in a day that you need to follow to actually have a very productive next day. So my colleague Graham, he happened to meet Prashant, and he spoke about us, about our business, and we scheduled a meeting. Came, met Prashant, presented, and Prashant was very receptive to our business and our ideas, and immediately asked us to register with FiiRE and get incubated. And so far, it has been a lot of support. We've been getting a lot of connects and exposure through FiiRE, meeting the right people, and that is what we needed being in Goa, because since Panjim is very far and we don't want to travel to Panjim for everything that we want to accomplish in terms of meeting government officials or partnerships with different business houses. I think we can do it sitting from South Goa, and thanks to FiiRE for that. So the first advice to an entrepreneur would be to not build a business to raise funds. Build a business to be sustainable. Build a business that can generate revenues, but do not build a business to go take funding, because once you take funding, it is just pressure. You have to perform. You have to make sure you deliver, because that is the confidence you would give your investors. So the second point would be to build an ecosystem when you're building a business. So when you build a business, make sure you also build an ecosystem which caters to people, creates opportunities for people. For example, in our case, we created UURJA with oils, using coconut oil, so that we can create earning and employment opportunities for the planters in south of Goa. Because in Goa, most of the coconut does not get harvested or processed, because there is no proper commercialization of this oil. The third point would be to create a product that customers find it very easy to adopt. Do not create products that you have to force to sell. Create products that are very easily adoptable, where you have identified a gap where the consumer is missing this kind of a product in their daily life. If you create products like this, it is very easy to create businesses. The fourth point I would say is to reinvent yourself, to be more receptive to knowledge, to talk to people, to listen to people. You do not have to take everyone's advice, but it is very important to listen, because only when you absorb knowledge it is when that it will come to your help when you need it, right? Because you already have it in the subconscious mind, right? So it is very important to listen to people, be very receptive, and you have to reinvent yourself. And the fifth and the last one, which I think is very important, is to be very patient. Businesses do not become successful overnight. It takes time. It takes a lot of patience. You will have to be patient with failures. You will have to be patient with success also, because if you are not patient in either ways, you might just jump the gun and be in a place where you do not want to be. So it is very important to be patient, and success will follow.